everyone, we are back with our page from Rita Berman's autumn page book, or from her compilation seasons book, and I'm trying to decide what to colour today. Well, I didn't look up the pictures of the dragonflies, damselflies, so we won't do that. Maybe we'll do this lovely mushroom up here. Actually, that'd be a nice one to do, wouldn't it? So let's come in a little closer. Now, I don't know if I really want to go for a cold grey on the stem. I quite often do with a mushroom, but I'm thinking to match him with this sort of autumnal tone, maybe we'll find something a little bit warmer. So I'm just having a look at what I've got. There is something called Brown Fog, which I'm just trying to find, which is a really light greyish brownish colour. So I'm going to start with a layer of this. I'm just doing it quite lightly. I'm just going to see how it sits, really. I probably will want to darken it up in some areas, but let's just get a little layer on. And you can probably barely see it, but that's okay, because I'm going to sort of build it up a little as I go. This is Black Widow's pencils, by the way. Really good of me to let you know very quickly. Sorry. I'm going to put a bit more on here. See, where Rita's drawn these lines, I'm thinking she's trying to tell us that there's a bit of shadow there. It's not showing up massively. It's a little bit. What I'm thinking too is, see, we've got these three lines here. I'm thinking maybe they join to here like this, so there's a sort of crease in the top of our in this little bit. If we make those a little bit darker, can just make it look a bit more sort of shapely maybe. Now I'm also thinking under here there'd be a little bit of shadow. I'm going to put a darker layer here, just layer it up a bit, and then I'm thinking from the edge it'd be a bit darker and then lighter towards the middle, so I'm just going to fade that out a little bit towards the centre. Now I'm not thinking this is quite dark enough for me. I'm going to see if there's something I can add on to it. Just put a bit at the bottom to make it a little bit darker, but maybe not too much. Let's have a look. We haven't really got anything too grey black. We've got a colour called Mushroom, which isn't the sort of colour. What I think I'm going to do is use, that's an interesting colour, Dungeon. Now Dungeon is a strange colour, I have to say. I'm just trying to find it. I think that's it. It is a slightly greeny brown, but quite dark, I think. So I'm going to use a little bit of it here, gently. Just a gentle bit, just to sort of emphasise that shadowy area. And then on here, where I sort of put those lines in. And then again here, because I feel that that shadow under there might be quite dark, and then the edges again, back a lighter layer here, just a touch. And what I'm going to also use this for is the gills part, and then it will tie it together, and I use it more intensely so we can see the colour a bit more. I think I need to fade that in a little bit. I'm actually going to, before I do the gills, go back to the Brown Fog, just go over those edges a little bit. I'm using a harder layer now here, just to slightly burnish and blend at the same time. Just want the stem to sort of show up a bit, not look really pale, but it isn't our main, you know, focal point, really. There we go. Right, now with our gills, we've got back to our dungeon. Back in the dungeon. Now I'm going to do this. I've done this in this way before and it worked quite well on a different mushroom. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start here, and this is going to be my darkest point, so I'm just going to put a few layers of dungeon here, and then I'm going to fade it quite quickly, so by the time I reach this black line I've only got a very small amount, like that, just the tiniest amount. So this here is quite dark and there is quite light. I hope that that is clear enough. And then the same here, so darker here and then fade it up. I was just getting very distracted looking at something called nano degrees. And they're a sort of degree level course, but not a full degree. You can do them online mainly and get a qualification that might help you towards your work. But there was funding opportunities, so I was having a look at that. Because my husband had been told about them at work. The funding opportunities though are for kids that are still in college or education, full-time education, and you have to be from an underrepresented group within technology. These were for the technology ones. Do you see how you got a little effect here? I think it's quite sweet. I'm going to go the other... I'm going to go the other way from here, so darker here. So that probably means girls and non-white British nationals, I would assume, and maybe disabilities as well in that underrepresented category. So my son's like, I'm a white boy, it's not gonna get it. It's like, no, I'm sure you're right. So but you can obviously pay for them as well, but it is probably, and the chap said it's probably a bit late for your son. He's probably right, because his holiday is over, so he's got to get back to uni extremely soon, and he'll be studying, so I'll have time to do another study. I've looked at this stem now, I'm looking here at this effect, and I feel like I want to put a little bit more dark pencil here, because I feel like it might be shaded because it's sort of near the bottom. So I'm going back to my dungeon. I'm just going to layer this edge up just a tad more. You might think, oh, too fussy, why are you doing that? Or you might think, yeah, actually I was thinking that myself. So it's up to you whether you do this fussy bit or not. Something else I saw for anyone in the UK is that the National Trust are offering a free ticket for the autumn. I think it's up until the 8th or 18th of October, I can't remember which, and you can apply for it. There's a limited amount, it might have all gone by now, I hope not. You can apply for it and you can get one for 2 adults and 2 children, or 3 children maybe, or you can get student ones, things like that. And I think the one for adults and children is up to, you don't have to have children with you. I'm delaying nattering, thinking about what colour to do this. So I'm going to grab my rusty colour to start with. I've got to find it. Is that it? Yeah. So you can, it's only one ticket, and certain National Trust sites are exempt from, and car parking is exempt. So if there's a pay to park, you might have to pay for that. Now I'm just layering up slowly this colour, thinking about, I don't really know what I'm doing, I'm just having fun. I think we're going to make this towards the red side of things when it's finished, so I'm just sort of layering up some of this. Might be more orange, but I don't know, haven't completely decided yet. But it means you get to go to have a free day out, so it's worth having a little look. I'm sure if you look up National Trust free pass or something, you'll find it. I was thinking of applying. There's a place near where my father-in-law lives, which we've been wanting to go to. We've been there before, but where they have a walled garden, which his companion does tours of, but I think you have to pay for that separately. I was thinking if we can get free entry into the main venue, building, whatever you call it, place, then then we could pay for the walled garden thing without paying tons of money. I'm just looking at my swatch chart. I'm thinking I might go to a rust colour next, which is more in our orangey, skin tony section. I don't know if it's going to be dark enough, but we'll have a go. Just got to find it. Is that it? No. Maybe it's there. There it is. Here we go, rust. So we might not be heading towards an orangey mushroom. I'm going to start sort of here and just go over what I've done and then just start putting this down. I'll probably put this on all of it and we'll see whether we think it's dark enough, or I will. You can decide as well. So I thought I'd let you know about that because it's just a little free day out if you want to do something. As I say, I quite like to do it, but I doubt we'll find the time because once the boys are starting back at uni, then they'll have lots to do. My son was looking at what he's got to do actually. Going to fade it up towards the top here. I am going quite fast. I'm going to build it back up though. I'm going to start down here again. I'm just layering and layering because I want it to be intense but not too dark, if that makes any sense. And we'll see how this layers. I think it's going to work quite well once I get a few more layers down. So yeah, it's worth having a go. I know not many of you are from the UK that listen to me, but those of you that do, have a little looky. Interestingly, I had a look to see which ones we had close to us first, and all the ones that are really close to us are free anyway, because they're like a common or what's the other one? I can't remember. Like a sort of hill. Yeah, there's a hill. So it's like it's. I think you have to pay to park on the hill. I haven't been there since I was a kid. You didn't have to pay when I was a kid. But yeah, and so there were a few different places near me that are free. There are a few places I haven't been to that aren't, but I just can't get to them on my own, and family aren't interested in that sort of thing really. Now what are we going to do with these? We do have a colour called mushroom. I'm just having a look at it. It's very pink. That's not going to be any good. I think I'm going to go back to this rusty and just do some rusty colour here. And I'm going to treat these differently to this bit. So I'm going to make them dark here and lighter towards the top of the curve. So I'm actually not going to fade it like I have this. Or shall I? Perhaps I should. So this one a bit less intensely coloured. We'll try it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because I'm using this same colour rather than I'm going to just do a really light layer. Hold my paper down, it's bouncing around. How's that? That's okay. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm quite happy with my mushroom. I do feel that some of these white areas are a little bit too big, so I'm just going to put a little bit more colour in some of them. I didn't notice until I looked up at the camera that they were quite white. Yeah, I prefer that. You might not see a big difference. Okay, so this one needs our pens on it, but what I think I'm going to do is do this first, or else I'm going to end up smudging it when I do this. So let's do these next. Now, berries. Again, I'd like autumnal colours, so I'm not going to go for purples, pinks and things, but let's do some we could do some reds that aren't too pink. So here's my red swatches, and I'm looking, see, I think these dark reds are all quite pink. The blood red is quite red, so we'll grab that. If I can find it. There it is. And really a slightly lighter colour. See, the Dragon Breath looks quite orangey. It stands out as quite orange, so I think I'll use that possibly as well. I think I will, yeah. So we use those two. So let's move that away. So actually, if we start with the Dragon Breath and put a little bit of it over each berry, just in the background, like this. Just quick and easy. Just a fairly even-ish amount, but don't worry too much. And berries aren't evenly coloured, so it's fine. I still haven't decided what I'm doing with that flower. I'm going to have to make up my mind at some point. Now, I have had a little look as to when these videos are going to be going out, and I noticed that I'm going to run out of space in my afternoons because my planner will come along, my planner day, Monday. So what I thought I would do was I would move them to the morning. This is blood red. So once planner day comes along, how am I going to do this? I think we'll do an outside all the way around, the outside, like that, and then just fade it in towards the middle. Yeah, so when planner day comes, these videos will just move to the morning. I don't think that'll be too confusing. This series will just continue. It can be a bit tricky knowing how to fit everything in with the planner schedule sometimes. But I like to there we go, keep the planner on the same time, because the planners are one of my more popular videos, and so I think, you know, people have got their planner, they're colouring along, so it means that I like to sort of prioritise that with regards to making sure the day stays the same. It also makes sense, you know, to have the Mondays, the planner day sort of thing, and I've been doing it for years. So that's that. I think there'll be a completed pages video coming out soon as well. I've been trying to colour across a range of different books this month, because I've been sort of trying to finish a book for so long. I thought I would just you know, spread out a bit, grab some of my older books or other books and that sort of thing, which was interesting. I found a few that have less than 20 pages left in them, so I'm thinking, do I concentrate on finishing those? I haven't actually decided, to be honest. I can see a few areas around here where the background isn't coloured as well as it could be. I could go back and go over it a little bit. I might do that. That means remembering what colour I did the background. What I did with the background, I did explain, was, I think it's the leather that I went over with areas that were a bit patchy. I just went over with my lightest background colour rather than trying to remember which colour I'd used, and it seemed to work. So I might do that again. As I say, I think it was the leather that was the lightest. So I'm just going to grab that now and do a little bit of that. So here is leather. You may not need to do this at all if you've done your background better, more carefully than I, and it won't matter. Now I was thinking that, you know, all these lines in the background, I thought maybe they could be done, put over with a gold pen, but then I decided I think it would just be too much and it would make the background stand out much more than I want it to. I like the background, but I don't want it being the main focus of the picture. Right, leaves. Now we could do, we could do brownish, we could do green. This is a big choice really. They all look different as well, which is quite interesting. Do we have a brownie green? We have a Cobra cardboard. I'm just looking in there. So we have all these greens, which are quite bluey and light and not really. These are more autumnal, particularly these. We've used some of these before. But we don't really have a brownie green because we have these golds which are really pretty. Maybe I'll just use the green tea. I think we've used it before though, haven't we? It'd be nice to use something different. Should we use the bronze? It's a little bit on its own. It's a bit, I'll start with it. It is a sort of green, look, you can see this like sort of greenish colour, like bronze. I think I'll start the base with the light bronze and then just see how it looks. I know. I'm going to take notice of these lines. So I'm not going to start at the base. I'm going to start along this line, quite intense. You can see I'm layering up, and then I'm going to fade it towards the edge. Now this isn't standing out very well from our background, is it? It was quite a poor choice of colour. So we're going to get a green and put on top of it and fill in those gaps and things then. I'm just going to sharpen this one. I've actually gone over the lines a little bit with my background, so I'm just going to erase that if I can. There we go. And now on this one. I must have a look in here. Oops. I've lost my I've got my pink Tombow, which I use in here because it enables me to see it quickly in my pencil case. So I'm going to go along this top edge and then fade down towards the line, a bit like we did with our mushroom gills. Well, this is exactly the same actually. Yeah, so I've lost my Tombow eraser from next door that I use at my other desk. I know it's greedy, I've got two, but I can't. I used to carry things back and forth from here to there, so my erasers and my blending pencils and various things, and it got too much. So I do carry most things back, and you know, my book and my pencils, but I've got a little supply of white pens and things like that I keep in here as well, just so that it's a little bit easier. Oh, I was dreaming again this morning, not dreaming, daydreaming about how it would be good to have a studio where I could have better lighting and things like that. Have someone to help me. One day, maybe. Now I want a green that's going to set this off because it's just not standing out from the page. Now I could use a darker green. I think that's what's going to work better. I was going to go light, you see, and I'm thinking maybe a darker green is going to work better. I want an olivey type green to go with this. I'm looking at my swatch chart. Let me just show you. So these are a bit pale still. The leaf green is a possibility, the olive green, but I'm thinking that forest, that's dark, but it's still got an olivey tone, a yellowy tone to it, which will work together with this. So I'm going to grab the forest. It does need a sharpen. And what I'm going to do is start on the uncoloured edge here with quite a lot of intensity and then gently blend it in, reducing my pressure and my layers towards that middle. So we've still got a little bit of the colour showing, of the goldy colour. What was it called? Being thick. Oh, bronze, light bronze. But it stands out a bit more from the background. I might actually go right over the top of that bronze just a little bit. There we go. And we're going to do the same with all of them. So from our palest side, it's quite difficult on this narrow bit, but the I've actually burnished that bronze quite hard, so it makes it a little bit easier, because it means that when I go over it, my green doesn't sit on there, so we do get a bit of a bronzy line still. Hopefully this one I can go over a bit, just so that it stands out from the background. There's definitely, I mean, they're a lot darker, but they are standing out, which is good. Not quite how I had planned, but my plan wasn't really very good. So sometimes you have to just adapt a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I looked at these nano degrees to see if there was anything on colouring. There was some art things. It was hard, I couldn't find out the prices. Drawing with coloured pencils and things like that. But I was like, not sure. I've got a lot of books and I've done various courses and things anyway. Now I was talking to my husband about art too, and he was, what was he saying? He has had a bit of a wall with his art, shall we say, hit a wall, because an art group that he's a member of has an exhibition that he can exhibit at if he wants to. And I'm just gonna put my pencil sharpener down on that corner of the page so it doesn't keep moving. And so he's like, right, I've got to do something, I've got to push myself. And so he has been focusing on pushing himself to get a piece of art that he feels is worthy of exhibiting. Right, we're going in for pens now. I'm going to start with the metallic. I'm going to start on this side and then work across so I don't smudge it. So I'm going to probably do all of this and then all of this. So I'm trying to remember what we do with that. So the metallic will be the, hang on, let's just brush off this so we haven't got bits of pencil. So the metallic will be the stems are, hang on, I'm going to actually start with the sparkly pen just to confuse everybody, because that's the outside of the leaves. They're the furthest away thing. So I'm going to start with them. So this is the Sakura Jelly Roll Glitter Pen number 703, in case you're wanting to know exactly. It's just the gold one or the yellowy one, but you can use any glittery gel pen, or you could just use your metallic gold if you have one as well, or you can just skip this step altogether if it's not something that you want to do, or that if you don't have the pens. Anyway, so he was talking about exhibiting, and I was like, you know, you don't have to push yourself. I was like, your art is supposed to be fun. I'm going to keep skipping pens back and forth. So the inner part of the leaves is the metallic. This is number 551, and it again is the jelly roll. And it's the sort of lightest yellowy one, goldy one. I said, you don't have to. And he said, oh, but the whole point of it is that you have to improve. And I was like, yeah, but practice. That's what, keep doing something over and over again and you will improve. And he's like, no, that's not how you improve. You have to push yourself. And I was like, that's how I improve. But yeah, so he was in a bit of a doldrums about it, which was a shame. But I mean, I did advantage from him because he didn't do any art at the weekend. He was so procrastinating. I don't know what the word, how to say it. He was procrastinating so much, back to the glitter pen for the outside of these 3 berries, that he had a sort out instead of something I've been asking him to sort out. So that was good. But it was sad as well that he couldn't get on with his art because he had this sort of mental block. I need to talk to him about it a bit more. Well, I said, oh, you know, it's supposed to be relaxing and fun, you know, not always about self-improvement. And he said, well, what's the point of doing it then? I'm like, relaxation? But I'm sure we all do improve with time, just through practice, but he didn't agree with me. I don't know why. Maybe he can't see his own improvement through practice, but I certainly can. I think I'm going to use the metallic now to do all these stems. Yeah, I can see his improvement, but oops, the problem is he gets bored quickly, so he might spend a while painting tulips, and he'll paint tulips for 3 or 4 days continuously, same thing over and over in different colours, and then he'll stop and get bored and move on to something else, which I guess is part of his ADHD, but it means that he hasn't quite perfected it enough to feel confident enough with using, you know, painting it. Let's do these inside bits. So it's tricky, but I think I have to let him just find his own way, really. Sometimes I don't know, I don't have an understanding of that way of thinking, so it's difficult for me to help. Now you might want to put some white on your berries, because a lot of the time we'll put a little bit of shine with a white pen sort of thing, but I think with all this gold we've probably got enough pen, but it's completely up to you. If you can feel that, if you feel that the white would lift it, then by all means have a go. Now I'm being very careful not to smudge my metallic. It's difficult, but I'm trying. Very, my mother would say. Dear. I've been having some fun actually putting together a few freebies for you. They won't be ready until December. It's my sort of Advent thing. I think I was talking about it yesterday. I'm planning it well in advance because as I said yesterday, I know I'm going to just get busy, and I like to be well prepared, and I will have to be well in advance because I know that I have an Advent page to colour. It's not my exact choice. Here's the metallic again to do the inside parts of the mushroom. So these loops for a start. I'm hoping I might get something else I can do instead, but it's basically a backup plan. I'm just going to hold the page down a bit without putting my hand in the pen. Wish me luck. Yeah, so basically on Agatha Pop's website, she has a free Advent page, which is quite cute, so I thought I might do that as an Advent calendar. Then people can join in because you can just download it for free. I thought that was a possibility, but I don't know if she'll be doing anything else around Christmas or if anybody else will, so I am just sort of holding off slightly with but I mean I could do it and record it and have it ready, and then it could be a bonus, but I'm not that far ahead. It would be lovely to be that far ahead, but no way. What date are we today? We are the 18th of September, so I'm a little bit ahead, but not that far. And I thought I might be able to get further ahead once the boys started uni, but I'm not going to get that many days to myself, and I'm wondering whether I might actually fancy, I'm using the glitter now for the outside, having some of that time to do nothing, to go for walks and just colour and not actually work, because I don't take a lot of time for myself just doing any old thing. But we'll see. It's quite nice recording videos when no one's in the house, because I don't have to shut the office door, and I can just, you know, do it my leisure type thing. But we'll just see how it all pans out, really. It's we'll just see how it goes. Because husband will be home on Mondays and Fridays as always, and my one son's, both boys home on a Friday, one's home on a Monday, one's home on a Wednesday, one's home on a Thursday morning, one's home on a Tuesday morning. So yeah, right, how are we doing for time? Oh, that's pretty good. I think that's enough for today. Let's come out so you can see how we're doing so far. Just move my detritus out the way a little bit so you can have to look at my pencils and pens and things. It's not too messy for a change. So there we go, we're getting there. I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm going to go off and research that dragonfly, because I have this plan, but I'm not sure. He's not going to look realistic, but I want him to look like a colour that a dragonfly would be, if that makes sense. But anyway, it's coming along. I'm enjoying it a lot. I hope you are too. Have a super day, and hopefully I'll see you later or tomorrow for another video, for another instalment or something else, I don't know. But thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, or dislike, one or the other. It's really easy to just tap that thumbs up or thumbs down, because it makes such a difference. And if you can leave a comment, that's really appreciated as well. But thank you so much. Have a super day and happy colouring.